Hey guys, what's going on? Ian Preston here on my second channel, Ian Preston Reviews. Hang on a sec, guys. Let me set this down. And welcome back to another movie review. And I'm just doing this movie review for fun. It came out in 1977. It's a movie that I watched when I was like 5 or 6 or maybe 7, 5, 6, 7 or something. It's from Disney. And I remember when I was a kid, when Family Video used to be in business, my mom took me to Family Video, and then she said, "Hey, how about this one?" I'm like, and I heard of this movie. I'm like, "Yeah, Mommy, I want to pick this one out. Let's watch. I want to watch this one." So yeah, and this movie I'll be reviewing is The Rescuers. Yes, it's a movie that I really liked from my childhood. Watching that, I rented it from the Family Video store, and I think I wanted to rent it again, and I enjoyed watching it. Renting it from the Family Video store when it used to be in business. But anyway, let's get into The Rescuers. It all came out in 77. It came out a month after the first Star Wars movie came out. Apparently, a little girl named Penny throws a bottle out on the ocean. She's like on some kind of abandoned ship or something, and it was like a SOS bottle or something, and eventually that bottle goes through the ocean, and the opening sequence is just so great. And then eventually it ends up in New York City, and then these mouse people called the Rescue Aid Society read it, and it was someone in distress, and apparently someone named Miss Bianca volunteers to help out, and then she chooses Bernard, a janitor, and then they head out, and then they try to shortcut through a zoo, and then I guess Bernard accidentally ticked off a lion, and then they go to an orphanage where Penny was from. That's the girl's name, and then they get answers from Rufus that the last time he saw her, and apparently she's been kidnapped by a woman named Medusa, and apparently she owns a pawn shop down the road, and then they learn that Medusa's on the phone with Mr. Snoops, one of her employers, and then apparently they're using Penny. They learn that they're using Penny to try to find this diamond called the Devil's Eye, and then Bernard and Bianca stole away in Medusa's car, and I was like thought it was funny when she was like driving, and when I didn't understand this as a kid, but I remember I understand it as an adult now, but I didn't understand it as a kid. And she was like driving horribly, and then she's like, "Out of my way, you road hog!" And I already knew she was the villain because of how nasty she looked. Anyway, Bianca and Bernard fall out of the car, and then they arrive at an airport. They're too late to go out to Devil's Bayou or whatever, and this bird comes and decides to take them on a flight. First Bernard's terrified, and then he starts getting the hang of it because Bianca kind of calms him down, and a beautiful song starts playing titled Another Day, and they make it out to this swampy area called the Devil's Bayou, and then they land, and then apparently Penny ran away. Medusa sends out her 2 crocodiles, Bronin and Nero, to go find her, and apparently Mr. Snoops sets off fireworks, and then the bird loses Bianca and Bernard, and then Bianca and Bernard land safely, but from some animals, and then eventually one of their a dragonfly named Evinrude, he's like the motor in this little lily pad thing, and he was like their boat or something. Medusa's out on her motorboat or something, her swampmobile, and then sucks the bird I can't remember his name, but he gets sucked into the machine, and I can't believe he survived this. And he's like, "Holy smokes, why don't you watch where you're going?" And somehow Bronin and Nero catch Penny and her teddy bear, take her to Mr. Snoops, and then she talks back to Mr. Snoops when Mr. Snoops is scared, and then Penny goes up to her room, and then Mr. Snoops sends out a firework thing to let Medusa know that Penny's been caught. And then next thing you know, Bernard and Bianca get chased by the crocodiles, and then Mr. Snoops tries to kill Bernard and Bianca, and then all of a sudden, eventually they see Penny talking to Medusa, still forcing her to get the devil's eye or the diamond. She's like, I got to have the devil's eye. And poor Penny looked out her on the balcony on the ship. She prays and then starts crying. But then Bianca and Bernard reveal that they're going to help her. And then they make a plan together. Bernard sets Evinrude out to warn all the other animals about the plan, but he eventually is forced to take shelter due to some bats chasing after him. But anyway, after a swarm of bats come after him, and then the next morning, Penny's forced to go down into a watering hole to find the devil's eye, but then Medusa takes Teddy and threatens that she'd never see Teddy again if she doesn't find that diamond. And then eventually, she had Bernard and Bianca with her, though, in her pocket. And then they eventually look around, and apparently it used to be a pirate's cave that it used to be. And then all of a sudden, they have trouble when eventually some water starts spewing out, and then Penny falls in, and then eventually they find the devil's eye in a skeleton skull. She uses a sword to get it out, and then Medusa pulls up Penny and Bianca and Bernard, and then eventually she gets the devil's eye, Medusa, and Mr. Snoops wanted it too, half of it too, but Medusa wanted it all for herself. And then eventually back at the ship, she holds Penny and Snoops at gunpoint, and then she decides to put the diamond in Teddy. And then Evinrude eventually manages to get back to the house without the bats eating him. And then all the animals go out to Medusa's house, and then Medusa falls into their trap, and then they attack her, and then she ends up dropping the teddy bear, and they attack Mr. Snoops too. And then eventually Penny grabs the teddy bear, tries to start up the Swampmobile, but they had to fill up the tank, and they set off the fireworks, eventually get the Swampmobile going, and then Medusa grabs onto some kind of rope, looks like she's water skiing or something, and then they eventually trap the crocodiles in a cage too, but they escape when the house explodes, and then they get on, and then it looks like Medusa's on their heads or something, and then eventually they manage to shake her off, and then she falls and goes whamming on a big pole from the ship, and then Snoops escapes in his underpants laughing at Medusa as the crocodiles are furious at her and want to eat her and circle her. And then the animals and Penny escape. And then eventually, the next day, Penny is adopted, has a new mom and dad. I wonder if she gets to keep Rufus the cat, which I think Rufus should be a dog's name, but yeah, that's all right. And apparently, I think I read somewhere that Medusa and Snoops are arrested, and the devil's eye is in a museum. And yes, Penny has a new mom and dad. And then eventually Evinrude come in, and yeah, Penny's on the news saying hi to Bernard and Bianca, and they're watching on the TV, which is cute. And then Evinrude comes in for another call for help on a little piece of paper, and then that bird takes Evinrude, Bianca, and Bernard out of New York City on their way to their next mission. And Bernard thought Penny brought us together or something. So yeah. But anyway, that was my review, and that's as good as I can do with the storytelling. And I rated it 10 out of 10. It's something from my childhood that I liked watching as a kid and brings back good memories. But anyway, if you guys are new to this channel, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, check out Ian Preston. My first channel, link will be in the description. This is my second channel, Ian Preston Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And drop a like if you enjoyed this movie review, and if you've seen this in the theater, if you enjoy this and think it's a classic, because I think it is. Puts a smile to my face. Anyway, that's all. Most of the cast sadly passed away, but some are still alive. But anyway, and the singer is still alive. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Love y'all.